There we are.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Obi Thorn Alliance, and this is the very special guest, Wilson. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, Wilson from Useless Skills here again. Love it. Here to talk about the Pitt today. One of my favorite shows. What else do I have to say? My YouTube channel, very easy, very simple. I mostly review movies. Try to keep it within 5 minutes and spoiler free so that you can check it out while you're in line waiting, or maybe looking for a movie to watch, and I'll tell you what to stay away from and what to check out. And I do the same thing on TikTok for the children.
Cool. So what are we talking about today, Jacob?
So the Pitt, and I thought it'd be a good idea to get our thoughts about season one and then kind of get more into, I guess, a critical review part of season two. So to start off with, what made you want to watch the season one and to try out season one first to give it a go? Is it because it was a medical show, or you liked the main actor because he was in Falling Skies? What made you want to watch The Pit to begin with?
I completely forgot he was in Falling Skies, actually.
He was.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, he was in that. I actually know him from the original, the ER. He was in ER as a young man.
Oh, with George Clooney.
Yeah, and with George Clooney. And I saw a couple episodes of that growing up. And I always liked medical dramas. My favorite before this being House. And House completely not medically accurate, but it's fun to watch. Hold on, give me 1 second. Got it. So now, sorry. So the it's nighttime here. So the medical drama is like one of my favorite genres to watch, really. Only because they come up with a lot of like really out there, scenarios that would never actually probably happen in like a hospital setting. But I guess the drama of that, coupled with what actually happens sort of medically, is good, cool. And so because of that, I enjoy the Pit being, I guess, leaning more medically accurate than just drama. Like the drama is there because, they're still human beings and they're dealing with things, but like the medical aspect of it is really what I enjoy, like the stories and the things that they're able to come up with for these characters. And they still keep it within the realm of believability, as opposed to like something like House, where it's like, oh, this is a rare disease that no one's ever seen before. And this is like the fourth rare disease this season. But yeah, that's really why I enjoy the Pit. The first one caught my eye just because it was medical drama and I like medical dramas. And so I was like, let's check it out and see if it's, good or bad. And there have been very bad ones, but this turned out to be really, really good. From the first episode, you automatically knew how different it was compared to other ones. So I really enjoyed that. What about you? What drew you to it?
I guess for me, how real it was, and from the 24-hour aspect from it, I think that was the best part of season one, and how we actually got to, I guess, get attached to the clients or to the people in the ER, and I think, and getting to see how the doctors, or how the first year interns got to realize that people do pass away, and realizing how they have to get used to it, and seeing how this is actually only like the first day of the shift, and seeing throughout the season the things that they have to deal with. And I think for me, that's what made season one probably one of the best shows when it came out. And I think that's why, like, I love House, but I think that's what makes The Pit better than House, is because it does it in a more realistic way than what House does, because I'm here watching House and go, oh, is that actually real what they came up with, or is it more like a writer's way of coming up with a reason that they succeed for the sake of it? But in the Pit, I go, oh, I buy that a little bit more, and I think it's more refreshing going. It might not be 100% accurate. I don't know. I'm not in the medical field, but I go, the acting's spectacular. It feels real, and I think I recommend season 1 of The Pit to anyone. I think it's definitely worth watching, and yeah, I thought it was great season 1.
I agree with you completely. I think House really shoots itself in the foot when it has the cast of doctors break into someone's home. That was like a big thing.
Yes.
And like every episode, this guy's not being honest with us. Let's go break it in his house,
Yeah,
and figure out what's
crime.
really wrong with him. Yeah, and I'm like, this is going above and beyond. But yeah, the I really like also what you said about the fact that like not only the main characters, like the actual doctors and the nurses and the medical staff, but the customers, like the people coming in for the medical like necessities, we also got attached to them, especially the big guy, I forgot his name, that spoiler alert dies. but yeah, we really got attached to like all the people that come in through the ER, and it's like, these are it made it seem like these are real people, real lives.
Yes.
and characters that don't even sometimes have lines, and you're just invested in like their well-being and stuff. So I feel like that was really well done. Unlike I have a little bit of medical background, but like I've told you, my wife, she is a nurse, so she's in the medical field. She's there all the time, and her biggest thing about watching just regular shows is like whatever they do CPR wrong, or they have like a screen that has a monitor that's just like, what the hell are those numbers? This is fake. And I'm like, yeah, this is a movie or a TV show. Like, it's supposed to be fake. Like, perfect example. We're rewatching all the Spider-Mans in preparation for the new Spider-Man coming out in July. So we were watching Sam Raimi's, I think, Spider-Man 3, or we watched 2 and 3. But at one point, Aunt May is in the hospital. At one point, Harry's in the hospital. So there's like a lot of hospital scenes, and just they're not there for hospital drama. We're there to see Spider-Man fight. Yeah. So it's really bad. It's like really bad, all the stuff that's happening. And so she's like, this is horrible. They're doing it wrong. And I'm like, we're not here for the doctor to get the right vitals for Harry Osborn. Okay, we're here to see Harry Osborn fight Peter Parker. That's what we're here for. But she praises the show. A bunch of her friends and other medical professionals that we know really love the show because it shows not only the doctors, which again, yeah, sure, they're like the heroes, the big guys, but the nurses, the nurse manager, yeah, like the other staff that's also part of the hospital that makes it happen, and the stuff that they have to go through, like the fact that nurse manager, again, spoiler alert, sorry, I'm spoiling the whole thing. I hope you don't.
No, it's okay.
Okay. But yeah, the nurse got attacked, and that's like a thing that keeps happening. And even in like this recent season, which we'll go into, but the nurse, brand new, it's her first day, and she was attacked, I think, like twice that same shift. And it's like, Jesus. And then she's still like, I'm gonna come back the next day. I'm like, I would quit that day. Commitment. But yeah,
I guess it's worth asking, do you like the hourly approach or not? With Grey's Anatomy or shows like that, they kind of show, time goes on, but what makes the Pit unique is the hour approach. Or do you like that storytelling method more than how other shows do it? Because that's kind of what sets the Pit and makes it more unique compared to other medical dramas. Or are you like the opposite? Do you find it annoying that we actually don't get to see time go past? Where are you on the fence on that?
No, no, I actually really find it really enjoying and refreshing that they did that. I didn't like the first season and the first the first season. I didn't understand how they're gonna be able to do all the things that they wanted to do
Mm,
in the first season. I'm like, how is this, because the again, spoiler alert, but throughout the end, towards the end, when the shooting event happens, I'm like they're building up to it. They're kind of building up to it because they keep mentioning this kid and how he was going to do it
yeah,
to this school, and so you think that it's going to happen, and he's not there, and it's him that's doing all these things, and so they're ramping up to this thing, and so I'm like, how are we? And then like we're on episode like what 12, and there's only 15 episodes because it's a 15-hour shift, and you're like, how are they going to resolve this? How is this going to? And so every episode and like the way that it was how do I put it, like cascaded into the next, like a lot of like good TV is like that, like where it's like every episode leads to the next one. Like for my one of my favorite TV shows is Breaking Bad, so every episode of Breaking Bad to me leads into the next thing that happens, and needs like there's no episode that's like what do you call it, like a
thriller.
filler. Yeah, right.
Mm,
So I really enjoy when a TV show doesn't waste my time. And I feel like they use every minute of this drama to hammer in how like it actually might feel to be in an actual emergency room situation. Even from just the staff waiting outside, like the the part that we kind of experience whenever we go to an ER. I mean, I don't know what it's like in Australia, but here it's like packed always. It's packed. So the fact that we go there and it's like full of people and we're waiting all the time and we're getting upset and highly like anxious because it's like we're technically sick and it's been
yeah.
hours and we're not being seen, but now we get to see what's going on behind the scenes, the reason that we're waiting for all this stuff, so I really enjoy it. How do you feel about the hours?
I think it was a very creative way to tell the story, and I thought it makes it stand out because I think what makes the Pit stand out to say House and Grey's Anatomy is its way of storytelling. So I thought it was a very creative way that they decided to do that, and I think that's we're talking about it, so it's a very ingenious way that they decided to do it. So I'm definitely think it was the right way to do it, because if they decided to do it the normal way that they did it, it would have been another generic medical drama. But I think whoever decided to do that, if it was the director or the writer, I think that was very ingenious way of doing it, because it definitely made me more engaged and like things are building. And I think season 1 and season 2 do it very differently, and I think that's definitely worth talking about, because it does it in different ways. And I think I'm very interested to see how season 3 does it, because they could come up with different things with how, because that's why I feel like the formula is now they do like the build up, and then it all kind of resolves itself, but it's good way of storytelling.
Okay, so you're that's interesting to me. So you're saying if they didn't have the, let's say, the hourly shift, because that's basically what they're doing. They're like, this is a 15-hour shift in the day of a
Yeah.
ER, medical place. So if they didn't have that, you say you wouldn't be interested, as like it wouldn't be good to you, is what you're saying.
It would be still good to me, but it wouldn't set itself apart from other medical dramas.
Okay.
When I think of a Pit, I think of its hourly approach, and you go, "Wow, this season only takes place in one day," and to me, that's really ingenious storytelling.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay. All
Well,
right. Yeah.
it seems like we'd let you go way more in depth with the characters, where other medical dramas, one episode could be a week, and then each character is you've seen them and they're gone, but I'm guessing from the pit some characters are there for the full 15 hours of the and you see them in every single episode, so you get to know them more in depth and they can be way more medically accurate.
I feel like it's a double-edged sword in a way. I do feel like what Jacob, what you said, that it's unique, it does set it apart. I do think that is why the show works the way it does really well.
It does,
and like I said, as far as like a binge, for me, I feel like it's a double-edged sword because let's say going from like season 1 to season 2, there are some characters that I would love to have explored more that we don't get in season 2 because now we're focusing on different set of characters, different set of circumstances, and so and time has passed in between seasons, so it's like a couple of months now have passed, or I think a year has passed since the last one. So these characters that we're coming into that we got to know in the first season are dealing with completely different circumstances in the second season, and we only get to see them for this one day, so we don't really know like the breadth of who they really are. Whereas a show like House or Grey's Anatomy or any of these things, we might not get to see them be as good medically, right? During their actual like job, but we get to see their lives. You know what I mean? So that's like I said, it's kind of like a double-edged sword in a way. The time
it would seem like for the doctors, then I guess you don't get to know much about them because how much can they progress in a day? But does the show ever show like flashbacks, or is that something they put in there? Or?
It does in season 1, but from something that happened in COVID.
Do you feel like maybe that's the direction they might have to go with season 3 to show flashbacks to fill in the space between seasons so that you can see a progression, but they can still keep the hourly thing going?
I think they do.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I guess it depends which character they choose to do that for and which one. I don't know which character I would like to see that done for.
Right.
Because I think of like a show like The Bear, like every season that they change the formula and it's kind of keeps it fresh and unique. And I'm just wondering if that's the new formula for shows where you do it hourly and then the next time you might do it over a week and you kind of change it. And then maybe next season, each episode focus on one character, and that's that character over a certain period. Like The Bear did that. Like they sent one chef went to like Belgium to learn how to do pastries, and another one it showed a backstory of how they got into cooking. And is that like a way the show can go to offer something different and build the characters a bit?
Yeah, that would be interesting. I feel they do a nice little delicate dance of they tell us because the characters speak a lot throughout the shift. So they tell us like, for example, one of my favorite characters is they call him Huckleberry in the show. And he, from the first season to this season has grown a lot. And so they talk a little bit about how he's progressed and like what's going on in his personal life. And by the end of the season, you get to kind of see what's his personal life a little bit because he's getting off of shift and meeting someone and doing things. So it's interesting how they kind of weave it into the show. But like I said, to me, it's like I like that they don't do that too much of the drama, like the lives of these people, and more focused on, well, this is their job and this is what they have to deal with, and this is what it's like to be in their job. And I think what they actually might do, and this is more akin to like what the writers and like Noah Wiley and the cast, like the creative directors have spoken about, is branching out and doing different spin-off shows.
Spin-offs?
Yeah. So like they might have a night shift. I heard they might have a night shift version of the Pitt. So there's like, because in I think season 2, towards the end, we saw the night shift staff come in and kind of mingle with the day shift staff, and we kind of like the night shift staff. So we're like, if they have their own show, we'll get to know them more, and we'll get to see what they do and how life is like in the night shift version of this, ER or whatever. And so then also each department could have their own, I feel like they could have their own little spinoff, and it's like here's a 12-hour shift at like a med search, or here's a 12-hour shift at a NICU, and with the baby. And they kind of showed the baby in this season, but yeah, cool. Like that'd be cool.
It seems like from someone on the outside looking in that the appeal for it is the realism of it and the medical side of it, and the fact that people tend to really like reality TV, even though it is the most scripted thing around. So is this a better mixture? It's seems real, you know it's scripted, but at least it's good. Where like reality TV is scripted but bad because they're not actors. It's just rubbish. So like maybe this is better because sometimes watching like medical shows where they actually show people in hospitals is a bit too gory and realistic because, you know, there's a person on the other end of it, where watching this, you can have that, but no, well, they're just actors. You know, that person didn't actually die. They didn't actually lose a leg. That this didn't actually happen to anyone. So is it a way of getting realism without fearing, without like consequence?
I don't know about you, Jacob, but I like there are some scenes where I have to like look away because it looks too real.
It's pretty gory.
At least you can know that it's not real. Where you watch some of those other ones
definitely.
where it's like actually an emergency department, you're like, oh yeah, that person is like a real person, and they're now like missing a leg.
Yeah, like a documentary style version of this show would be way more hard to watch than this show. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the realism is what sets it apart as well.
Jacob, you got a bunch of questions, don't you? Where's your book?
I was thinking we would score season 1 first, and then I'll ask you some questions and get more in depth with season 2.
Okay. What's the score system? You want to use yours or mine, or we're just making one up?
Guess since you're the guest, we'll use yours for season 1.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's see. For you know what? Actually, I have it here. I'll pull it up. But you give me yours first.
Out of 10, I'll probably give season 1 8.
8. Okay.
That's pretty good.
I got it here. I actually gave it a 5 out of 5. I have it here written. So, because I do out of 5s, but that's basically a 10 out of 10 for me. Season 1, definitely a 10 out of 10. It is top tier. I think one of the best shows that came out last year. The fact that they're able to do it every year as opposed to every 3 or 4 years, like most shows, also to me.
Like Severance.
Like any show, really. You can name any. It's not even any show. I don't think there's any show that literally comes out from year to year anymore. That's not like a sitcom or a 30-minute, like Abbott Elementary or what else was I was watching, like Will Trent, or like there's some shows that are here, like network shows that still come out, but they're like 30-minute dramas that just
come out. Shrink. They start as 24 episodes season 1, and they move to like 12,
exactly,
and 10, and then eventually it's like 5. They get less.
But that is more akin to what happens with like behind the scenes, where they're like, well, nobody's watching this, so we're not going to give you 24 seasons. 24 episodes. We'll give you 10, and then if those 10 are good, then we'll see. And then if they're not good, they give them less and less until eventually they just cancel it. So it's like, for the Pitt, it's such a good, like, I feel like they're doing the reverse. They're like, oh, we start with the 15 episodes. Now we're going to give you 20 episodes. Next season, we're going to give you 24. Like, they're going to get more because people want more of the show, not less.
I hope so.
But ultimately, yes, if we're ranking the first season, 10 out of 10 first season. If we're just talking the first season, 10 out of 10 first season for sure.
For this show, if they're doing it over 15 hours into shift and some of the characters are in there, patients, for instance, are there from the start, or some might come in halfway through the shift or whatever, you reckon they would film all the scenes with the same patient in it all in like one time, like whether a day or back-to-back days, and they could smash it out real quick because of that? Because there's no point like filming episode 1 and then filming episode 2. Like if someone's, comes in with their leg with a problem and then by the end it gets amputated, do they just film every scene with that person in it so then they don't have to keep changing costumes? And then
probably
because like the doctors would wear the same stuff, like maybe their scrubs get dirty or get blood on it, but like the characters aren't changing costumes in between the time they come to the hospital and leave.
One character does.
Yeah, right. That's why I'm laughing. Jacob, no, that's what I saw your face, Jacob. I was like, yeah, one character definitely changes out.
But yeah, I reckon they could obviously they could film quite efficiently that way, because they go, okay, for week 1 of filming, we're just going to focus on this character from start to finish, or this patient, and then move forward, and then obviously the main actors would stay there throughout the entirety, but they could kind of smash it out quickly.
Yeah, I mean, also I feel like for like extra, because a lot of those are extras, like the guys in the
Yeah.
background, and like so I assume to not pay
Mm.
them like a higher rate to keeping them
Yeah.
there multiple days. They probably just do 1 8 hour day or something, and they shoot all
Yeah.
their scenes. So yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, probably why they can make it yearly, because they probably film it in a really short period of
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Also,
and
they
it's
only
all
need one
location.
location.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all one location for the most part.
Okay, so
So
you
what's
gave
your
it a
next
10 out of
question?
10. Jacob gave it a
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay, and then now you got your questions regarding season 2.
Yep. So let's go into season 2. So, who is your favorite character in the show?
I knew you were going to ask me this. I go between. It's a go between. I have two. I have like pretty much all the characters are my favorite. I love all of them, but
They
it's
are good.
between Dr. King and I kind of want to say Huckleberry, but yeah, no, I'm gonna say Huckleberry. Yeah, between Huckleberry and Dr. King.
And why are they your favorites?
So Dr. King to me is, one of my favorites because again, close to home. I believe she has autism. She hasn't said it in the show yet, like her character herself. She said her sister does, and she takes care of her sister. But I think she's just like a higher functioning or more masking, like less presenting. So I also really enjoy the storyline this season with her and her sister about the autonomy of a person, like the fact that her sister has a life, that she's like not a part of it. It's like, yeah, she's an adult, like she has a life, like what I mean. So I found that like very interesting because I don't really see that in anything else, and other stuff that I watch. And whenever they have that kind of representation, it's pretty much what's the word I want to use? Rain Man style, if you know the reference, if you know what I mean. So it's not really, representative of the people that I see in my day-to-day life. So I'm like, I enjoy that aspect of her character and stuff, but on top of that, it's the like I think the human aspect of it that really comes through because it's how I think I would be if I was in this show, where it's like she best doctor, I think, like top 10 out of the doctors that are there, even though she's technically still learning. She's like the top. She does all the stuff right. She asks all the questions. She even helps others find stuff where she's like, oh, you didn't ask her about this, but doesn't do it like in like a, oh, I know better than you way. It's kind of like, hey, oh yeah, I would have asked this. Did you ask this? And like kind of helping. And just her like positive, energy and the way that she kind of still sees even though she's in a very tough profession and the things that they're dealing with sometimes get really heavy, she's still able to like lighten the mood. Huckleberry I just like because the man's been through a lot. The man has been through a lot of stuff, and just from the first season to this one, and I'm like really proud of like how uh how do you say green? I don't know if the term, you understand the term. Like he was very novice. He was very like
Yeah.
level 1, and now he's like not level 100, but definitely level 50ish. Like and helping the other guy that was kind of an asshole this season. He was kind of helping him along and stuff. Even though he didn't really warn him about that shit attack that he was gonna get. But what do you think? Who are your two or one favorite character?
My favorite character is Robbie because I think he has the strongest final 2 episodes of writing and just with mental health I've seen in the TV show, and I think he deals with a lot, and being the boss and having to go through a lot was probably the most powerful thing I've seen in the show. And I might be a little bit biased with the actor as well. I think the actor's great, and he was great in Falling Sky, and he's like acting wise, he's the main reason why I love the show. And I just think My theory is this is Paula's as well, is I think it makes sense they adopt the baby because they both need each other. I just think if he wasn't in the show, I probably wouldn't watch it because I think he's the character that I'm very glad that he didn't go on the trip so he could commit, suicide. And I'm very happy that that didn't happen because if he were to lead the show, they're still great characters, but I feel like he's the he's the thing that keeps everything together.
I agree with you. He's a great character. He would be my third choice.
Yes.
I didn't like originally the direction they took this season for him, like his storyline until the end, like until the end. I'm like, okay, I get it now, because like the first couple episodes he did come across as kind of a dick, and I'm like, bro, you're just like, what happened to you? Like the first season you were completely compassionate, now this season you're like over shit, but it's like, oh, he's over shit, like he's over it, like he's over everything. And so like you kind of get that towards the end of the season. But I did like his arc in this one as well. I do enjoy his character. What's your next question?
Which character do you think has the best development throughout season 1 and 2?
Oh, best development from season 1 and 2. I actually think it's damn, what is that guy's name? The doctor that was on drugs, the one that was the addict. I forget his name.
Langdon.
Yes, Langdon. I like his arc from season 1 to 2, because season 1 you're like, nah, no way Langdon did, and then you're like, whoa, Langdon did that. So then you're against, and then like Langdon comes back, and this one you're like, you know what? I get it, and it's a struggle, and he's trying, and he's, especially like at the end when he went upstairs to the lady, like he could have left on the high of doing that neck thing that he did to that one guy that everyone was like praising him for. He could have left and went home right after that, but instead he went upstairs to see the one patient that he, messed up on. Where even though I feel like he didn't mess up, because he literally told her, hey, if it goes past this circle that I drew in your leg, then you got to come back. And she didn't come back until after it was too late, so she lost her leg. But he cared, you know what I mean? So it's like I enjoy his little trajectory of stuff or whatever, and his battle with not only the addiction, but what do you call it? His battle with
redemption.
Yeah, it kind of, but I mean, I meant more like his battle with everyone else's struggle towards his use, right? So kind of like his dynamic is more what I meant. Like his dynamic with not only with the I forgot her name, but the doctor that called him out, but also like his dynamic with the doctor that had the she had the leg brace on in the first season. I forgot her name, but she was a recovering addict, and so how she spoke to him about that situation, and how she spoke to the other doctor that called him out that was like against him, and is like, everybody just acts like everything's okay, and it's like, yeah, but what do you want them to do? Like, this guy's coming back and he's doing work, and he's doing the work to stay sober, and he's still a good doctor. So, like, you can't, do this to people because they're still people. So I really like that arc that he had from season 1 to season 2. What about yourself?
Mine's going to be Dr. Dennis Williker, because I find from season 1 to season 2, out of all the new, I guess, rookies from season 1, he has like the most grounded development. Like from season 2, I'm like, he's like stepped up as a man, because he didn't have to help out the patient because the husband passed away, and he was like, I'm gonna, maybe a little bit unethical, but he's like
a little bit.
He took over the farm and was like, you're like, oh, he has really good morals. And then he, like you said before, he took the other, what he was in season 1, he was a mentor to him, and then he just developed as a character. He was even homeless in season 1. So I think out of all the interns, he's the most relatable one. And I go, out of all the interns, I think he would be the one that I would want to be caring for me. So I think he's definitely had the best development as well.
Okay, I agree with you. I love Whitaker. He's one of my favorites.
Yes. Leading into the last one to do with things, what is your least liked character?
Oh, I don't want to get canceled. It's not her fault though. It's not her fault that she's not a good character. It's her story. But Dr. Al Hashimi, you know, the new Robbie. She was supposed to be the new Robbie for the department. She was supposed to take over. Yeah, Dr. Al Hashimi. I just, you know, like I understand her, like obviously towards the end when they revealed what she was suffering from this whole time. But it's completely,
she's a liar,
huh?
She lied though. She's a liar.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's completely unethical. Like her entire but then she wants to act all holier than thou and morally correct, and you know, and I'm like, but then you're lying the whole time about this, and it's like I was rooting for I was like, I want her character to be like, I want her to have the redemption like that Langdon or all these guys had. Like I want her to, but at the end, it's just like, what are you doing? And then that also exacerbates Robbie's situation, which again, even though Robbie's my third favorite, he's still one of my favorites. And the fact that she, you know, basically set him over the edge, because I mean, I guess I view his situation differently than yours. I view people's autonomy again very, very highly. So if they want to no longer be here, they should have the right to end their life if they want to, because that's their life. So the fact that he can't even do that in peace, knowing that his department is going to be run like by this person. So I'm like, well, you couldn't even give him that, you know? And so that's why I don't really, you know, like her character so much. Who's your least favorite?
I was going to choose her, but I was like, oh.
Great minds think alike, Jacob.
I've changed. I'm actually going to go Dr. Jarvis, the TikToker, because to me, my mindset was with choosing a character that I dislike. If the writer's like written out a character and I would never see the character again, I would be okay with. And she was in the top 3. It was the character you said, and then the female character that kept arguing. So for me, the reason why I chose her is, for me, she feels like a trust fund baby, with that she actually hasn't had a proper story arc for herself. It just feels like she has, you know, she fights with her mom just because, and she doesn't feel like, compared to the other 2 interns that were in her year, she's just not that interesting, and she's very like annoying. And then when she finally loses the patient, she doesn't actually like go. She neglected her patient as well. So I kind of go, well, I don't know. I just find her very much a brat, and kind of like, well, I actually don't, like I said, if she left the show in season 3, what's not happening, but if it was, I would be completely fine with that as well. And so that was my choice.
Oh wow, okay. Damn, just
You
buried
disagree?
Dr. J. You just buried her.
You disagree?
No. I everything you said, I completely see where you're coming from. I completely see where you're coming from. Especially the being basically just like her entire arc is just her mom is around and her mom is
Yeah.
better than, obviously she's like a hired doctor, and so it's
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, your mom's here and you're just here because your mom, and it's like, okay, we
Yeah.
get it, but like what else about her? And so, you know, the fact that she was doing TikToks as well, I'm like, oh, of course, because you know they have to reach the younger generation. But yeah, like it's I agree with what you said. I just feel like you the way that you said it was really funny, because you're like, oh, she was annoying, and on top of that, she sucks as a doctor, and on top of that, she did this, and I was like, damn, okay. But yeah, no, I can't fault you for, she's definitely not one of my favorites. Like, I like her,
It's
but
not written well.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I agree.
Next question. Is Dr. Jake Abbott's character realistic?
Ooh.
For realistic about the character, he was a war veteran and he has PTS, post-traumatic disorder. He was injured during combat.
Mm-hmm.
He operates in the field, amputee, and he's lost a leg.
Yeah.
He's a very heroic medic in army.
Yes.
His development, he shows compassion, kind to patients, breaks rules, risks career by alerting tests results, shows good leadership to other hospital staffs, and has a close bond with Dr. Robert, supports each other, seen towards where he helps Robert realize he has a lot to live for.
Right.
Do you agree with this?
Yes. I like their like rapport, and because remember in the first season it was him that was kind of going to the roof and having his moments, and it was Dr. Robbie that was helping him for his moment. So now in this season it was him helping Dr. Robbie with his situation. So, and again, like a lot of veterans have a lot of PTSD and a lot of stuff that has happened to them that they feel like they don't want to be here anymore. So I feel his character is realistic. Maybe the way that they portray him is a little bit too cowboy for a hospital, but but I like his dynamic with Dr. Robbie, and I like if they were to do like a night shift version, he would technically be the Dr. Robbie of that department, because when Dr. Robbie's not there, like he's the night shift Dr. Robbie basically. So I do think that, like, I think he's a good character, and I would watch a show with him leading a team, and even just the scenes that he's in, they're really fun to watch, even if they're, even if he's not the most, I guess I would say, grounded in reality character for this setting. He's still very entertaining, and he's still very good at coming across as compassionate and doing what his job entails and stuff. But I really like his dynamic with Dr. Robbie. That's really the biggest selling point for his character.
And he doesn't have a lot of screen time, and you still get, like, if he had a spin-off show or was in a show in a night shift, I would definitely watch it, because I feel his backstory I would like to see more, and I think is very interesting.
Yeah. I agree.
So now talking about Dr. Robbie, flawed protagonist. He is bad towards biased towards some colleagues. Dr. Layden clearly has complex mental health issues.
I agree 1,000% with everything you said.
Yeah.
I think his biggest issue for B, especially this season, that it didn't come across as, I think, again, until the end, was the fact that he, like all these characters, he sees them kind of like a version of himself because he's the one that kind of taught them and brought them up. So he kind of gets upset at them because he thinks they're supposed to be better than where they are. And so it's really, again, all dealing with the fact that he's leaving or he wants to leave, but he feels like he can't because they're not ready. And so them not being ready exacerbates that anger out of him. But throughout the whole season, it just looks like he has favorites and he has people that he doesn't like, and he just comes off as belligerent. Whereas in the first season, he came off a little bit more compassionate, but you kind of knew what he was dealing with as far as like losing his mentor during COVID and all that stuff. And this season, he kind of seemed more, like I said, like kind of a dick, like kind of an asshole. Whereas towards the end, you finally realize, okay, this is what he's dealing with, and that's why he's being this way to his staff. That, you know, in the first season, he was very much more compassionate and understanding. This season, he's kind of very short with everyone, and even like his long-term relationships, he's short with the doctor that you just mentioned, the veteran doctor, and he's short with the nurse manager that he's very close with. And so it's just like he's doing all these things, but you didn't understand until kind of like the end where he's like reveals that he wasn't going to come back from the trip, right? So I like the arc for him this season. It's just throughout the whole, like until kind of the end, you're kind of not on his side really. So
whilst we're talking about characters, one of the things that came up when we're doing some research on the show was there's a lot of talk about, is the character Dr. Jack Abbott's buddy on the roof real? Having not seen the show, I don't know what that means, but I assume there's someone that he talks to on the roof, and there's talk online whether this is like a fictional character and it's actually someone in his head. So what are your thoughts on that? I can't comment, but I've seen talks about this. So
I mean, I think he's talking about the guy we were just talking about, and yeah, I think he's very much real. Other characters interact with him, so yeah, because some of the things I was reading online was saying, oh, there's no evidence of him interacting with people, so that's why I guess I was a bit off track because the things I read didn't match up with what you guys were saying. Some other things we put down was questions about, so we talk about your favorite characters, least favorite characters, a bit about each character's arc. What about patients? Do you have a favorite patient or a favorite like medical issue that happened with the patient? You want to go first, Jacob?
Mine's going to have to be, I'll see if his name's in the notes, but it's going to have to be the here's his name. What's his name?
Louis,
yes.
Yeah,
very tragic story with how he became a tragic alcoholic because of what happened to his kid and wife, because they got into a car accident, and then he passed away because his stomach was like I don't know how to describe it. It just consumed too much alcohol, and then eventually his body just gave out on him. And I think just because you're thinking at the time you're like, oh, stop drinking, and then you realize once it happened, it was very good storytelling with explaining that. I guess if you explain it at the start, it doesn't have as much emotional tension.
Yeah, I agree with you. Also the other characters, the way that it hit the staff, knowing that because he was always there, just coming back to the ER several times over the years, and so them seeing him for the last time and that kind of stuff, that it hit hard. Not only knowing that like the other staff cared about him and he was there for that long, but his backstory, like you said, it's like devastating. So yeah, damn, that's the one that I would say. That's why I let you go first, because I feel like we would have the same one. Louis is, I think, the best patient that like we can come up with.
What's the most interesting one?
Yeah, I would say he would have been the most interesting patient.
Okay, but what about like the most like weird or quirky one? Like, is there some like really odd like medical issue that came in? Like I'm thinking, like at Doctor House, they have all those strange ones. That
Oh,
is there
got
anything
you.
really quirky in this? Or
I really liked. It's random, but I really liked the guy with the the old man that had the butt. Like his butt was like he couldn't sit right, so they had to fix his butt. I don't know if you remember, Jacob, which one I'm talking about. It's the older man, and he kept hitting on the doctor lady that was taking care of him, and he kept getting up, and she's like, "You gotta go sit down." He's like, "I can't sit down. It hurts to sit down." She's like, "We could fix this," and then the only way for her to fix it is by going up his butt, fixing his thing, and it's like it was funny, but yeah, that was a good one. And the homeless guy.
I was gonna ask as well. I keep seeing notes here about poo scene. Who was the grossest?
Oh boy,
yeah.
That was a different character.
Oh,
you want to tell him? You tell him.
Basically, the newbie doctor has to perform a I guess
enema,
because the lady can't perform a number 2 properly, so it
like a bowel obstruction or something.
I think so, and then
it
comes out, and then it gets all over everywhere.
That was the grossest one.
In the first season, Whitaker, the character that we were talking about earlier, he changes scrubs so
many times,
every other hour because he keeps getting liquids, piss, blood, just all kinds of stuff on him. So by this season, in season 2, like we said, he's like leveled up, so he knows kind of when stuff is coming. So he kind of knew that doing an enema would activate the flow of the stuff coming out, and he because the newer resident, he's kind of like a know-it-all. He's like, oh, I know everything. I know all.
He's annoying
he's
himself.
Like that smart. So he's like, oh, okay. So then he kind of let him have it, get shit on because he knew everything. I like that part. That was a fun part. That was fun.
Some of the other questions you had were related to the show itself, which you've kind of touched on. So it was, is it your favorite medical show? So you said before that it was, but prior to that, it was House.
Yeah.
We've established that you think it's realistic. I think everyone kind of established that it's very, very realistic. They obviously spend a lot of time with doctors and experts in the field to make sure that the things they put out there are realistic, unlike Scrubs, for instance, which I know it's not meant to be realistic, but it's not even close. Like they make up things that don't, like diseases don't even exist in that show.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference of seasons between 1 and 2?
It's hard for me. To me, both seasons are very good. And it's hard. I can't. I'm gonna say season 1 just because season 1 is the one that introduced me to the show because it became what it became. But I feel like as the show goes on, it'll have amazing seasons that will top season 1, like blow it out of the water.
I hope so.
They're doing stuff with these characters and they're building these narratives that I'm like, if they like once they get like the what's it called? Like the experience of this is how we want to do the story better, how to make it better and better and better. There's going to be a season of this show that's going to be just classic television. But yeah, right now, season 1 is better than season 2.
I very much struggle to. Jacob asks this question a lot to me regarding shows I watch, and I struggle to say anything other than season 1 because it's where a show begins. The only thing sometimes I think season 1 gets topped is like the last season. It's either the bookends for me. I find the ones in between, even if they are good, they don't stand out because you remember the first one for how something began and you remember the last one because it's how it ended. The only show I can think of that I like maybe season 2 more of is maybe Always Sunny in Philadelphia because they add in Danny DeVito. So adding in a new character is maybe the only thing that really sparks a change.
Kinda. I feel the same way about for me it was Parks and Recreation. Same. Second season when they added like other characters, it became a lot better than the first season. But again, my go-to show is Breaking Bad. And to me, I think it's season 3 when they introduced Gus Fring. Have you guys seen Breaking Bad? I'm sorry, I keep mentioning it. Yeah. So season 3, Gus Fring is 10 times better than season 1 and 10 times better than the last season, even in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, like that whole arc of Gus Fring and him like exploding and, tying up his tie and at the end of Gus, like all of that, top tier television. And again, to me, that's like classic television, like legendary best season of a show, whereas that was season 3, not season 1 or season 5. So for me, I feel like the Pitt can have this because they do, like what Jacob said, this unique thing about the standalone shifts. So the first shift was, I think, Christmas, right? Season 1 was Christmas time. Was it Christmas they were celebrating? And this one was July 4th. So I feel like they're doing it like themed around holidays. So I feel like one of these holiday seasons, Halloween or Thanksgiving or whatever, that's going to be like the Thanksgiving season. Oh man, that was the best season. Like that's going to be in the future what people will say.
What about you, Jacob? What's your preference between the two?
I would say season 1 because I actually think season 2, for me, I was really hyped for season 2. And then for me, I was disappointed because season 2, I think, dropped the ball when it come to what season 1 was great at, and that's showing the patients in the rating room. And then for me, because season 1 had no problems with actually you buy the problems that they had. And then in season 2, it's like we're getting people that sunburn themselves and then have stomach aches. And I'm sitting there going, like, season 1 had none of these problems. So I'm like, well, I got no, like, detachment to the patients in season 2 because they lost actually going into the waiting room. What season 1 to me I actually cared more about because we were in the waiting room, we spent time getting to know them. What season 2 kind of dropped that storytelling, and I guess they wanted to make it more unique in that way. But for me, what picked up season 2 and why I'm looking forward to it is because the final 2 episodes, I think, are maybe even the best storytelling of the show, because I think talking about mental health and talking about what characters go through, I think, was very important. I was like, oh, they picked it up for me. So I would say season 1.
Do you have I know it might be hard, is there an episode that stands out that was your favorite? Across either season?
Probably episodes 14 and 15 because they were so excellently written and directed.
Is that like the end of season 2 or end of season 1?
Season 2.
Okay. What about yourself, Wilson? You got a favorite?
I would say the same, but for season 1. Okay. I would say the same 14 and 15, but for season 1, or just because they were dealing with so much more, in my opinion. But I do like the arc in 14 and 15.
We kind of touched on it, but maybe being a bit more specific now. Is there something you think an improvement, one or two improvements you could do to make this show better if you were given creative control?
Ooh, boy. You want to go first, Diego? I know you have thoughts.
I actually had an idea what they could do. What I thought was a good idea is make season 2 within 7 days. And then season 3 within a month, and kind of make that like what you were suggesting before, and then maybe make it that for like a spin-off, we saw like different departments within the hospital and kind of open up, like make the Pitt show like its own like multiverse or like its own universe. And maybe make it, because we never see the other hospitals, so maybe make it like for one episode we get to see the other hospitals, because they make it that there's always problems at the other hospitals. So I'm thinking I don't know. To me, I would like to see what those hospitals are like, what they're going through. So they would probably be mine.
You reckon they could do spin-offs where they like link it with other services, like there's the police, and then there's like the ambulance as well, and then they have like the fireys, and then see how that all like kind of links into, and they have the patients cross over between those. That could be kind of cool.
Yeah,
Have
that would be
Pitt multiverse.
That would be cool. And then like a shift, a day in the shift of all these people, because all of them have minimum 12-hour shifts. So it would be interesting.
And then you'd have like patient crossovers. So like, for instance, the Pitt, if they deal with someone who's got like a burns to them, you see then like episode 4 of the one about the people in the fire department, they actually rescue this person or something, and then episode 7 of the people in the ambulance, they pick them up and take them to the hospital, and you can see them cross over.
That'd be fire. That'd be fire. I would enjoy to see that show. Actually, that would be a good show. For me, I would like if they did one season where every hour it would be following one specific character. So like they kind of do it a little bit in each episode. We have like, little segments of, let's say, Dr. Robbie dealing with something, Dr. Whitaker dealing with something, but then we jump from person to person. I'd like to just follow one character, literally getting up, dealing with the stuff throughout their day, dealing with their other interpersonal communications, like with their families and all this other stuff, whatever, and how they have to deal with that. And then going from the, I want to say, height of everything they just had to deal with in the ER to sitting down and to just chilling, you know what I mean? Like that kind of their entire day of what it's like to be in their life as a ER doctor or whatever, not just the hospital aspect. But like for each character, like if we just have one episode where we do that for each character, it doesn't have to be an entire episode where we follow just one character. I meant like an episode where we follow each character outside and inside the hospital.
So like, let's say there's 15 characters, you did 15 episodes, and each episode was that person's version of that day?
No. I meant like one episode where we just follow those 15 characters throughout their day. It could be, like just vignettes, just like this is Whitaker at home in the morning. This is Whitaker at work. This is Whitaker after work. This is Whitaker with his mom or with whatever, like that kind of stuff. And each narrative that they're building would also bleed into the rest of the season. So like I would put it basically like episode 1, and then this is, what they're dealing with in their lives and what's going on. And then from episode 2 forward, it's the shift of that one day that's going to wreck them.
Out of all the characters, which one do you think you would be most intrigued to see the daily life or see what's going on? Which one do you think has the best backstory for you to be intrigued with?
Well, again, this goes back to my favorites, but I'm going to say Dr. King, because I want to see if she weasels her way into going to her sister's boyfriend's house and meeting the parents and being a part of that life. Like, because she kind of just literally abandoned her. It was like, you do New Year's or you do July 4th by yourself. I'm here doing my own thing. And so like, I want to see, and also their dynamic, because like she talks about her a lot, but we don't get to see her life with her. Like, what is that like? Why is it only them? Like, what happened to their parents? What, like, why do they have any other siblings? Like what's going on with their life that this is what she has to deal with on her own. And then I do want to see what Whitaker does at the farm, how he lives with I forgot her name, but the other one that calls everybody names. I want to see his dynamic with her, like at home, because they have such a good rapport on the job that you can tell at home they have like a nice dynamic. So I'd like to see that happen like outside the hospital. So those two characters mainly is who I'd like to, see more of outside, What about yourself?
I actually think Dr. Jack would be interesting, like seeing, because I believe he's also a firefighter, or he's a police officer, or he does something else. To see him like balance like the two workplaces he does, I think he would be like very interesting. But yeah, probably him.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And maybe the security staff, because it feels like all we get of them is like them placing bets, and
Yeah, they
I don't
place
know.
bets.
Yeah, they don't get a lot of character development, so maybe them. But yeah,
Okay.
I think it's definitely worth talking about from the unfortunate gun shooting that takes place and the cyber attack. Which one from the two main stories did you thought was very written well, and which one did you go, I enjoyed the two main storylines? Which one did you think was better executed?
Oh man. The cyber security one hits close to home because my girl had to deal with that. Like they literally had to go
No,
manual for a while.
it happens a lot in America, does it?
It happens. It happens a
Oh,
lot.
okay.
So and it's just for stupid. It's not even a cyber attack. Sometimes it's just because they don't have
They're bored.
the like the bandwidth. No, the like the what do you call it? Like the literal bandwidth, like the actual internet is down. And so they're like,
Oh,
just the internet is down. And so that's it. Unfortunately, internet's down. Everybody has to go manual. And it's like, what? You guys, it's a billion dollar hospital. How the hell do we not have our internet? But that hit close to home. But I do like in the show how they executed the shooting aspect, because not only did it keep tension about the fact that they have to save all these people's lives, but it crescendoed to Dr. Robbie's like breakdown of his remembrance of COVID, of
what happened to his
everything he was
mentor?
dealing with, his PTSD. Yeah. And so on top of all of that, dealing with all the chaos and the fact that we don't know who did it, and if this kid is here back in the hospital visiting his mom who is here in the hospital, or if it wasn't him, who was it? And like somebody I think brought a gun in at some point, but it wasn't the shooter, it was somebody else that had a gun, and like they took the gun away from them during some point. But basically all that hectic stuff on top of the stuff that they were already dealing with, I felt was higher stakes and more, I guess, well executed than what happened with season 2 with the cyber going down. And it's like, because they kind of knew it was coming, and they just so happened to have the annoying character that you mentioned, the third annoying character that you mentioned, that she basically memorized the whole board, which was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, season 1, I would say.
I agree with the gun shooting 100%. I thought it was very clever how they made you think it was the young boy, and they made it someone else off screen. That I don't know if I was happy with that, because I thought, I personally like seeing who the person is and kind of going, you were the one that did it. You deserve consequences, and made it that, oh, he did the shooting and then he shot himself, what is a very common thing with shootings. So, but to me, it's kind of like, well, what's the point of making bless you?
Bless you.
What's the point of making you think that it was the kid just to go, oh, it was someone else? So, but I think comparing the two main story elements, I think the school shooting was written at a very high caliber, when I'm like, the tension was there. What with the cyber attack, it's like, oh, I don't know. It would have been nice to at least then make it, I guess we knew the motives more. It just felt like it came out of nowhere. Like it wasn't built up like from
Right.
season 1 school shooting. It was, I don't know, it was like, because the character that you said you didn't like, it felt like because of the tension between the two head of departments. One wanted like AI to like take over, so it felt like I don't know, it just didn't feel as writtenly well. And I guess that leads to season 3. what would you like them to come up with or do for the next? Because it feels like for season 1 and season 2, they come up with like scenarios that the workplace has to deal with. So what would you like for season 3 for the scenario to be?
Okay, let's see. Season 1 was a mass shooting, which we deal with every day here. Season 2 was the cyber attack, which we also have a lot of. So maybe a natural disaster for season 3.
That's cool.
Yeah, maybe a natural disaster, because I feel like it's common, you know, and since the show is obviously, you know, global, I think a lot of people can relate to it because natural disasters can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like what you said about the school shooter in the first one, I like that they did that, because unfortunately, you know, most of the shooters here have been look like that kid. So immediately in my mind, they didn't even have to plant all the stuff that they did plant to make it seem like it was him, like the list that he had of women and targets or whatever. They didn't even have to do that. I thought
it was him too.
Yeah, like they didn't even have to do that. I just immediately was like, oh, it's definitely that kid. So when it wasn't him, it's like it made me like do a double take in my mind, like why did I think, you know? And it's like, oh, because, you know, society wise, it has always been like, usually when I watch the news, it's like, oh yeah, this guy. So I like that they didn't, like they kind of construed it a different way, you know, and they didn't show who it was, because it was like, you never know. But yeah, I think natural disaster for season 3. What do you think?
For me, don't know. Natural disaster fits well, because I was going to say like a bank heist or something like that, but that's another crime. We've already had another crime, so natural disaster fits because we have already had a crime. We've already had something to do with technology. What a bank disaster, the 3 elements work well. So
I mean, I like the bank heist. How would that go? Like, we're treating the robbers, or they're there to rob the hospital?
I would say we're treating the patients, or the people that goes down, but I don't know. I guess it's a typical heist when they don't mean to shoot the people that they have hostage, but the security guard or something, you know, takes out a gun and, you know, stuff goes wrong. But I don't know. I feel like the natural disaster works better.
Okay. I don't know. Hey, we don't know. You know what I mean? We don't know. It could be that. We don't know. But I would like natural disaster.
What would the natural disaster be?
You know, the show is very political.
Yes, so it is.
When you watch it, just know it's very political. It's very political, leading in a certain direction, by the way, which I enjoy. But yeah, I think it's gonna be something akin to dealing with global warming. You know, like it's gonna be like a natural disaster that would never have happened there had it not been for global warming affecting, like, you know, this part of America somehow. And so that's why it's happening. And I'm pretty sure they're going to let us know. Whatever it is, they're going to be like, wait, what? This happened here? But this never happened here.
What city is it set in the show?
Pittsburgh, I believe.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Right, yeah.
I was going to say, like, it was like somewhere like in LA or something, could be like beach erosion and like building collapses that's like on the, and then they could tie them to global warming. I don't know about Pittsburgh, but like, is there lakes in Pittsburgh? Oh no! Like, what could they add to global warming?
I'm pretty sure they don't have. I don't think they have earthquakes there, so they could have an earthquake. You know, any hail, you know, or a snowstorm, because it's very like it's like a more heat area. I mean, they do have snowstorms, but like a snowstorm that's historic or something like that. Like, it's usually something like literally just whatever's actually happening, because it's actually happening. It's not like it's not happening.
Oh, so yeah, maybe like a blizzard or something, but then that kind of
Yeah.
goes against, yeah, like what they get like stuck in the hospital and people can't get out, and people can't
Something
get
like
in.
that. Yeah. Like even something as simple, because like I think what was it, 2 years ago, there was like a snowstorm in Texas, and they say snowstorm, but like we've had bigger snowstorms here in New York, and so the thing that they had in Texas is really light and nothing, but because
I'm not prepared for it.
their roads, yeah, their roads and their like infrastructure, they weren't ready for something like that because that's never happened there. So now that it is happening there, they, you know, they had like it literally crippled them for like weeks. So something small, even like that, just that they've never dealt with there, but they'll make it known that it's because of that. That's what I think will happen season 3, but we'll see.
Speaking about the political stuff in it, do you think it's necessary to have it, or do you think it's good to have it because it's not in your face? It's kind of, I guess, more mellow compared to other shows, I guess, like Designated Survivor, I guess, like more politic more driven shows. I don't know if you've seen Designated Survivor.
Yeah, I have. Love the concept of that. I wish it happened in here. Oh man, I wish it happened here. But but yeah, no, I think it's very overt in its politics, and I think it's on purpose, and I think it's necessary because a lot of the stuff that, you know, I mean, I don't know about over there, but over here, anyone has to deal with dealing with the public. It's not even, to me, it's not even political. It's just dealing with humanity in their worst moments. You kind of can't, you know what I mean? Like the thing that happened with that kid that had the what was it? I think it was polio or something. Like it was something that was curable, that was already cured, but because the mother didn't want to give him the vaccine for it, and then didn't want them to give him the vaccine for it, the kid almost died. So, and then it's like, you know, screw it, we're gonna save the kid and have her sue us later, but her kid's gonna be alive. So it's kind of stuff like that, you know, it's like, yes, technically that is political because there's a specific person that believes that vaccines don't work, but inherently it's human. It's like, yeah, like this is science. It's not, you know, like I don't know how to explain it. Like to me, that's not a politics thing. That's like a human being thing. It's like if they tell you that 2 + 2 = 4, but your belief is that 2 + 2 = 5, that doesn't change that 2 + 2 = 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if you don't have this, you will die. Even if you don't believe in it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't care what your belief is. It will kill you. And so I feel like that about a lot of stuff that they tackled on the show. The ICE agents coming in this season, the fact that staff left, like not just people that were waiting in the ER that needed actual medical attention left because they would rather die at home than be sent back or sent somewhere, who knows, disappeared. So the same thing with the staff. The staff that work there had to leave because they're afraid for their families, for themselves, you know? And it's, again, technically a political thing, but it's still a human thing. It's like if you feel like your life is under threat, even if you're at work, you're going to leave that job just because you feel like a bunch of thugs are coming in to take you away. So, but yeah, I think I like the politics in it, and I think it's necessary for the stories that they're trying to tell, the way that they're trying to tell the stories.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I guess from our perspective, I guess my mindset is because I don't live in America, so I kind of go, well, I can have the opinions of how we can treat each other and things like that, but I kind of go, well, I don't know how hard it is or the hospital system, so I kind of go, well, I guess it's a good learning experience to see how it is, and I guess it gives good education. That's why it's good watching different countries. I always love watching British shows, American shows, and Australian shows because it gives you good education to different cultures. And if you were always narrow-minded and I'm just going to watch one like area or your own country, it's kind of narrow-minded. But it's always good listening and seeing different cultures.
Yeah, I agree. And then use it as a cautionary tale. Don't let this third world country become your country, because we are now in a third world country.
So I guess what direction or what things would you like them to do in season 3?
What would I like for season 3? Besides all the stuff we already talked about, which is a little bit deeper into the characters and maybe natural disaster being the big bad of that season. I'd like maybe an explanation for the characters. Like if they're gonna, for example, you know that season 1 to season 2, some characters didn't come back, right?
Yeah.
So I'd like to know, even just like a glimpse, maybe if we could get a glimpse of those characters in whatever life they decided to live, or just a mention of like, hey, this character's no longer here because they're doing this now, or they're doing that now, because it is. I do like the fact that it's kind of like it's a real job. People come and people go. Some people stay in the job, some people leave the job. So, but like, I'd like to know what happened to these characters, because I feel like we kind of, have a bond with them throughout this shift. And then it's like, they're gone now, new people. And it's like, okay, new people, great. But what happened to the people that I like? What happened to these people? So, yeah, like that. I'd like that if they did that this season.
Yeah, because the doctor that had the baby and then lost it, we actually don't. And I actually did research. She actually wanted to stay the actress, but the writers written her out because they didn't think. I guess they didn't want her to be in the show anymore, so they just written her out of it.
Yeah.
It was interesting doing that research because I'm like, oh, she's not going to be in season 2, and it's like, oh, why? It's like that was the last scene we saw of her when she left for the shift. It's like, I think in season 2 they said she took a different job, but I guess we can assume it was because she lost her baby. The workplace was the reason, and she needed a new beginning. But I don't know. To me, it's like she was a great character, that doctor, and it would have been nice to see her story develop, but that's not going to happen.
Right.
It's not like the actress wanted to leave. It's like the writers are like, oh, we're going to choose you. And other doctors leaving in season 2, the doctors that was like, oh, I don't know where I want to go. And then she's like getting upset, and like that character is going to be leaving too. So it feels like they get rid of one character per season.
Right. I just hope that they explain, next season what happened to that character. But yeah, they just write them off. I don't know why.
Yeah. So I guess, what is your favorite part of the Pitt compared to other shows? Why do you think people should be watching the Pitt over other TV shows? What's your sales pitch for the Pitt over other shows?
Okay. I have had to do this a couple times, so I have my sales pitch ready. Because I convinced literally my whole family to be like, you got to watch this show. Like, if you don't watch anything, watch this show. Let's see. It's not only a good show, like as a show, like a good television program. It's good drama, but it's also, again, the most medically accurate show. So I feel like even by proxy, you'll learn something. Like just off of watching it, even in the background, you're like, oh, I didn't know that. Now I do. Like little things,
Point.
Yeah. So that like I feel like that's really a good selling point as far as like why this medical drama over other medical dramas, why this show over other shows. I just feel like it's a very well written show. You will like at least one character, and you will be entertained from episode 1 till the end. Unlike other shows where you're like halfway through, you're like, I'm already halfway through, so I'll finish the season. This show is like you'll finish the season and you'll want to keep coming back for more. Like, you know, me and my girl, we're gonna rewatch season 1 and 2 again because we liked it so much. But yeah, that's my pitch for why this show over other shows.
You don't feel like there's too many like it has too many characters in the show, or it has a good amount of characters?
I think it balances its characters well. It has a lot of characters, but I feel like it balances it pretty well. So that we kind of know who we like, who we don't like. We know enough about each character that we're like, okay, I like this character, I don't like this character, I like this storyline, I don't like that storyline. Like, and it doesn't focus too much on each, so that it's like, oh God, here we go again with this doctor that I don't like, or like even Dr. J's like TikToks, they didn't become a full like horrible arc. This whole thing, it was just like a little throwaway thing, so it wasn't bad.
Yeah. I guess my sell pitch for the show is that it brings a very unique concept for the medical drama shows, and it also has great character development, and it also has, if you want to get invested in also the patient and the medical staff, because I feel like, for example, House, you get invested in more House solving the medical drama, not actual the patient. You kind of just see the patient as the thing that House needs to solve.
Yeah.
Because House is basically Sherlock as medical drama.
Right.
What the Pitt isn't that. The Pitt is more of a relatable human show. So I think that's the best part about the Pitt, and I hope it has at least 5 seasons. I hope it has a good length of storytelling and it doesn't drag out and become, because that's the problem with its formula. Eventually the one day telling it from 15 hours perspective, it's unique now, but it's going to get stale at a certain point. So eventually they're going to have to either tell it from a longer element or go in a different direction with its storytelling, I guess, to go longer. But sometimes it's better to end on a high than go longer and end in a less satisfying way.
I get you. I mean, for that, I'd say House and Grey's Anatomy and even Scrubs, like all of them have a lot of seasons, and it was the same formula over and over and over again. So I feel like this new formula with the Pitt, it could last a good 12 seasons without, I think, getting stale. Because again, if you think about 12 months of the year, there's at least one holiday every month that they could portray during a shift, and each holiday brings its own, you know, unique stuff, right? So, you know, like this season, it was the fireworks blowing up in the kids' hands. That was like a big thing for one of those kids. So that's something that wouldn't have happened in the season 1, because season 1 they wasn't dealing with fireworks at that point. Or the heat wave that was attacking them, and like the heat, a lot of people came in with like heat rash, or they were suffering from heat stuff and that kind of stuff, you know. So I feel like it'll be fresh enough for at least 12 seasons. If each season is one shift, at least 12 seasons. If they do 1 month of the year for whatever reason, they'll have something fresh. But after the 12 seasons, we'll see. Hopefully it's still fresh. We'll see.
I guess they're not going to run out of medical issues. They're kind of many things to go wrong. And like, if it's not so much focused on the character, like the doctors and their like drama and personal life, I guess they just have to go through the handbook of different diseases or issues people can have and just pick a new one.
So does the Pitt still make you want to go into the medical field, or has it changed your mind? how has the show influenced your choice with getting into it?
It has verified my choice.
Has
again,
it?
yeah, because like I'm trying to be a radiation technician. I don't know if you know, Luke. So basically I just take x-rays. So, like the nurses are the ones that have to deal with the enemas and, like all that, the shit and the blood and the fluids. I just literally, I tell the patient, stay right there. I go behind a giant wall, take a picture, come back, and I'm done. So I don't really have to deal with, the real bad medical aspects, So, and I picked this specific because there's like so many in the medical field. So I was like, I picked this one specifically because it's well paying, which is number one. But then also, yeah, it's like it's not again so I want to say
gory
invasive.
and hands-on, and
yeah. I want to say invasive because I feel like you never, with these kinds of jobs, I don't think you can ever get bored because it's like every day something new is going to happen. That's why I'm like, they're never going to run out of medical stuff to put in the show because they could just pull from real life. There's always medical anomalies and weird stuff going on. But I don't want to have like someone's life and death scenario in my hands. So I feel like this, I never have to see, the most that I'll see is like a patient that might have cancer. So apart from that, it's not like they're going to die of cancer right in front of me. So it's like, I might not see them for a long time. So that's like where I would suffer loss. But, my girl, she's worked in the NICU. So she's seen, unfortunately babies, being stillborn and stuff like that. She's worked in the med surg, which is like patients that are, overweight and they have heart problems. A lot of them die during surgery and on the table and stuff. So she's seen her fair share of that and has told me about it. So I'm like, I want to stay away from all that. So I stay in this nice little lane where I only see the patients while they're alive because we don't need x-rays of dead people. And that's it. So, yeah.
I guess the Pitt has been a good stepping and seeing the consequences of dealing and making that choice. And you, I guess, are the character that was dealing with that machine, and that's kind of what you would have to be if the power or anything happened in that situation, even though you only got so much small screen time.
Yeah.
But that would be your role.
That's exactly right. That's it. I'm sitting there in the middle of all these nurses and doctors, not even dealing with. I'm just reading X-rays. Oh, here, I'll read this X-ray for you. But literally, one of the characters that was coming to get the X-ray, it was Dr. Robbie for his friend that was dying of some kind of. I think he had a tumor or something in his chest, like when they did a chest X-ray. So he kept waiting for the X-ray. I just had to, his character just had to read the X-ray. Here's your X-ray. Here you go. Like, and then Dr. Robbie had to go deliver the news of, hey, guy who helped build my bike, you're dying. Like he had to go do that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I guess one other thing I'd like to bring up is, how you brought up the kind of disability storyline. I actually liked it, but the problem I had with it is that the sister, to me, was kind of, I don't know, I actually loved her character in season 1, and then in season 2 it felt like the writers, in my opinion, did a disservice to her character, because she kept going on about her getting
disposition.
She kept mentioning it. That was like her main story arc. What I'm like, why out of her she's the one that's like going through that? And then I don't know, I thought that was a big moment for her sister to admit that she has a boyfriend or all this, and then her first reaction is, oh, how come you didn't tell me? Or she your boyfriend or whoever obviously is the R word, raping you. And I'm like, I liked how it was done, but for me, I think it kind of made her out to be, I don't know, not as likable, but I guess I don't know. I just think that storyline could have been handled differently, but I guess it kind of shows because I think she is autistic as well as a character. So I guess if she's both autistic, she's kind of thinking from her perspective. So at least they tried with this with a disability storyline or people with disabilities. It's just I found it very odd to make it like to do with sexual things, and I don't know, it was kind of unusual, but at least they tried.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. To me, it works because, like, since I'm raising my son and he's autistic, it like a lot of times I have to be told by like his teachers or by other autistic adults,
Society.
yeah, that he has his, again, he has his own autonomy. He's going to be his own person. So a lot of the times, like, I'll help him with stuff that he doesn't need help with. He can do it himself. It's just that I've been doing it for him before he knew how to do it, that I just assumed, oh, I still need to do this. But he can do it himself. Or put on his shirt or put on his pants or put on his shoes, like stuff like that. But again, because he's not very verbal, he doesn't really say, hey, I don't need help with this, But if you give it to him, he'll do it. But I just don't give him the chance. I just literally, it's like autopilot. I put on his shirt, I put on his pants, I put on his shoes, and then we're out the door. And so when like his mom, for example, would take him, she would give him his shirt and he put on his shirt, give him his pants and I'm just here shocked, like, oh man, this man has me as his personal slave over here. I didn't know you could do all this stuff. And, but it's because that's kind of routine with us that he doesn't really break me from my routine. He doesn't stop me from doing this stuff because he's like, oh, dad does this, so I'm just going to let dad do it. And so, like that kind of stuff. So when we were watching it, it was kind of surprising because I saw it as, immediately when she said, that she had the infection, whatever, I was like, it's a UTI. And so my girl is like, oh, so they're raping her in that facility? And I'm like, why do you go to rape? Like, why can't she just
It must be
have a boyfriend? Like, it's like, why can't she just have a person that's also in the facility that might also be autistic or have Down syndrome or other disability, and she's just with that person? Like, why can't that just be the case? And she's like, oh, I didn't think about it. I was like, yeah, exactly. So that, like, I feel like that opens up that version of stuff in people, like that conversation. So I enjoy that they had that aspect, because even someone as close to her, like her sister, would still see her as like, she didn't see her as capable as her. Right. Like, right. As being like, oh, I can have interpersonal. And it's funny because I feel like Dr. King doesn't have good interpersonal skills. She obviously likes Dr. Langdon, but she can't really, say or communicate that. So she's really pretty much by herself. She doesn't really have other friends either. Like, she's always hanging out with just her sister. So the fact that her sister is having these interactions with other people and becoming more, separate from her, it kind of shows her like, oh, wait, like, I thought that you needed me to have all these things, but she's her own person and she can have her own things. So I like that they brought that into the show, to show that. So, but yeah, but I get what you're saying though. It's like all of a sudden, like, but again, that's kind of what I said, where we're not really following these characters. So everything has to kind of be smushed to be like, this is happening now. And it's like, whoa, this character, Dr. King, that loved her sister and, was a good advocate for her sister all season one, now all of a sudden is having a fight with her sister over this. So
yeah,
I get it. Yeah.
How would you like that storyline to be told in season 3, or do you think they won't even make it a focus anymore?
I don't know, because I feel like they're going to probably do another time jump. So probably time will pass where she would have met the boyfriend at this point. She would have met, because at that where we met her in season 2, she didn't know that she had a boyfriend. She didn't know that she was having sex. She didn't know any of these things. So I assume if after months passing, she knows now who the guy is. She knows that they're together. She knows what's happening or whatever. Or maybe they will reveal that the guy is a staff member or taking advantage of her or something, like, we don't know. So I don't know where they're going to go with it. I hope that it's like, a nice wholesome thing and everything's perfectly fine. And I hope that teaches Dr. King to try to get a life of her own, you know, outside of just being her sister's caretaker, because that's really what we know about her character is just she cares about her sister. She's just a caretaker, but we don't know. And hopefully they tell us why she's the sister's caretaker, like where are their parents in the scenario? So yeah.
Which one do you think will be most likely we'll get? Because I wouldn't be surprised if they go the route that she's been manipulated. Well, I hope they don't do, because I think that actually makes the situation even worse, because it makes it that people on the spectrums that are females can't make choices, and I don't know it.
Right. Yeah. I don't think they'll go that route. Also because the actress playing her is autistic, so I don't think she would, like, I don't know, want them to write her character that way. So like I think she would speak up and be like, hey, I don't think this writing or this character would like this is a good storyline for this character. So I don't think they'll do that to her character, especially because I feel like they're writing Dr. King in such a way that if you didn't really know someone on the spectrum, you wouldn't really know that Dr. King is on the spectrum. How I think that's what they're leading to. So I think they might actually reveal it now. Like I think to Dr. King herself, because I don't think Dr. King knows. So I think even to Dr. King, they'll reveal it. Hey, you do know that, you know, this is, and she's like, what, me? And I think that might be the route that they go, because for females, as far as I know, it's like less diagnosed because it's more like they mask better or something like that. Like, I know that like for females, it's like they get a diagnosis later on in life as opposed to males. So
yeah,
I think that might be I think that might be where they go, because I feel like that's more of a I don't know, normal trajectory than being like, hey, this, you know, we're just gonna take the character and for some reason she's being molested. I was like, what the hell? Why would you do this? Why would you do this to like our favorite character? But yeah. What do you think they're gonna do next season with your Dr. Robbie now that he can't kill himself?
I think he's gonna adopt the baby, because it makes sense, because he, after learning from what happened to him, it makes sense because he was left behind. So why else would you bring the baby in the story of not to make it like his reason for living outside of the workplace? So I think he's going to look after the baby and then realize, oh, I have a purpose outside of work, because that's really what he needs. Because for him to say, oh, if I didn't run this hospital, if I wasn't part of this, I wouldn't be here. That's pretty, like, you're in a dark place. So for him to be able to look after the baby, but I know the actor has said that that's not what they're doing, but I feel like he's saying, because obviously you're going to say that if you're not wanting to spoil things.
Right.
So that's what I personally think they're going to do.
Yeah, I think that would be smart. I'd like that for Robbie. Actually, that would be smart to keep him, you know, alive outside of the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you like them to do with his character?
Oh, Dr. Robbie specifically? I agree with you. I'd want them to do that. I think that I assume that's where they were going by the end of this season. Like I thought he was going to say he adopted the child, or he's going to take the child, or whatever. Like I'm surprised they didn't do that at the end of the episode. But I could see that happening in season 3. I'd like that for him.
Yeah, that's a good point indeed. And for next season, would you like them to involve the night staff, or even have an episode or focus more on the night characters?
I would like at least one episode of the night shift. I think maybe like a softly launch a spinoff. Give them one episode to see what that life would be like, because I like those characters. I did like the night shift and like their whole dynamic, and again the Dr. Jack just being whatever he does outside the hospital and then what he does inside the hospital.
Yeah, I agree with that. it has potential to see what other things can potentially happen in the universe.
Yeah, I agree.
So what we've been talking about, Luke, have we convinced you to watch it, or no, we haven't?
Oh, I'm definitely interested in watching it. It's finding time to watch it. It's the challenge. I definitely have an interest in watching it. My list of shows that I'm halfway through is just growing and growing and growing. So I don't know if I can add another one to it just yet. But from what I've seen of it and what you've said, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's probably the one type of genre I've probably watched the least in terms of show. Medical dramas would be the one I'm least familiar with. I remember watching ER as a kid. My mum watched it. And then with movies, it's definitely like war. Like I've watched very little war movies. So yeah, so medical dramas. So it's probably the one thing that's lacking from my mix of shows. Like my shows that I watch on the regular, sitcoms. I love watching SNL. Like I never miss an episode of SNL, and like it's more comedy based. But then, yeah, I think I need to add something, maybe a medical drama into the mix. I just got to find time to do so. And as you know, once I feel like I'm a few seasons behind, I just give up. That's why I never got into Game of Thrones, because it just gave up. By the time I was interested, it was far too late. And I was like, I'm never going to catch up.
Man. Oof. Great show. Great show.
Where Breaking Bad, I entered that, I think, maybe like halfway through. But I had a lot more spare time back then. So.
It's also an amazing show. Yeah. But I think you'll like the Pitt. Just whenever you're going to start watching it, make sure you have enough time, because you're going to want to keep watching the episodes. You're not going to want to stop.
Yeah, we have this ongoing debate where I really like shows that get released weekly, because I feel like I can plan for that. So like The Boys at the moment comes out weekly, so I know that when it comes out, the next day I watch it, and I can plan that. But once something gets dropped or the seasons to catch up on, I'm like, nah, I can't do it. There's no way. Like I just see this mountain in front of me that I can't climb.
I feel you.
What do you prefer, Wilson? Do you prefer weekly release or straight out at once? You can watch at your own leisure. Which one do you prefer?
I think I have it's a mixture of both for me. It depends on the show, because I feel like there are shows that are binges, like really good. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna watch this all day, and it's gonna be really good, like that kind of stuff. But then there are other shows where I'm like, all right, I need time to process everything that just happened this episode. Let me take a week to like think about all the stuff and the themes and the storyline, and then the following episode the next week is like, okay, now I'm ready to deal with this world again. So it depends on the show, I think. I think it depends on the show.
And would you say The Pitt is better as a weekly watch or bingeable watch?
I think it should be a binge. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it should be a binge. Every week for that show, I am dreading that I can't just hit next and watch the next episode. Like I dread it. That's why I know that it's a good binge, because it's like I don't want to ever stop. Like I start and I don't want to stop. That's how I know. Whereas like Luke's watching The Boys, I'm watching The Boys as well. I enjoy the weekly break that I get, especially this season, which I feel like it's one of their weakest ones. I enjoy my weekly break from it, because I'm like, hopefully next season they'll think of something better, because goddamn. But this last episode,
Jacob's not up to date with The Boys, and he asked me the other day, he goes, oh, is it obvious how they're going to finish the show? And I was like, no, literally no clue. Like
oh really?
You got kind of ideas, but I don't think it. I think they'll throw a curveball or something. Or I haven't read the comic books, so I don't know if the comic books.
No, I don't. They have not been comics accurate at all with this show.
Yeah,
but
I just felt like
the comics not good.
Yeah, but I agree. I think it's the weakest season so far. Not to say it's not good, but it's kind of like scattered, and like I don't really know what each episode's going to bring.
I don't know if this is a spoiler, because I don't know how they're going to end this show.
Yeah,
but to give you a hint as to what I think is going to happen, without spoiling anything for Jacob, there is a character who is an older gentleman. If you've already seen the episode, Homelander let him live, surprisingly. And he said to Homelander, during one of the scenes, you're gonna you chase your whole life to get what you want, and then it's like a poison pill. It's not what you wanted, or something like that. And I think because in this last episode, he finally got what he's been after. And I think it's actually going to do the opposite of what he thinks it's going to do. And I think that's the best way for the season or the show to end, is have this character that has been terrifying and everybody's scared to do anything to him or whatever, have this character be this way so that everyone's like no longer afraid of him and can poke fun of him, and he still has to be alive and live in a world where he is not who he is now. So
I always hoped throughout the earlier seasons that Homelander would come good and they would turn against Vought, but then he is Vought now. Like, so it's, but I just always thought that's where it was going to go, and then they kind of just bypassed that.
Right.
As much as he's evil, I kind of like him. Like, I don't know.
Oh no, I the fact that Anthony Starr had to, I don't know if you've seen the I think second to last episode, Jacob, but he had to play like he wanted to do stuff with a dog. Like he had to pretend that he's enamoring this dog in a way, and I was just like, they must have paid this man a lot of money to show his ass to the camera and do that, because that's hilarious. But yeah,
it's an interesting show. As much as I like it, I always question how, you know, like Huey in that and like how they just haven't been killed yet. Like, I just feel I was like, there's no way they would survive this far. Like
1000%.
With no powers, you're like Homelander would just. I don't buy it.
1000%.
But it wouldn't be much of a show if they weren't in it. Okay, enough of the boys. But yeah.
So, I guess to wrap, what would be your score for season 2 compared to season 1?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with your score for season 1 for season 2. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, I'm going to give season 2 a 6 because I think it drops off. I was actually, if it wasn't for the 2 episodes that I think are actually the best television I've seen so far, I was actually considering of giving up and not even watching season 3, but the 2 final episodes for me were that good that I'm back and looking forward to season 3. I think for me, what I enjoyed about season 1 so much was the relationships of getting to know the patients in the waiting room. That's the other storyline that I really enjoyed. And then season 2, we got none of that. So for me, it's like I didn't really like that as much. And then it kind of, like you mentioned with how Robbie was, it got too much drama focused in my opinion, but it kind of crescendoed with you realize why that was, because I was actually like thinking he's been nasty but also right, and then realize why he was acting like that. So I guess it kind of makes sense if you were to watch it again, but I don't think it's as strong as season 1. Like season 1 is like elite television. What season 2, I still think it's good, but not as strong as season 1. I think the show, I would recommend it to anyone. I think House is still my favorite medical drama because it's finished, but The Pitt, I think it has potential to be better than House.
I mean, hey, I think just the first season of The Pitt is better than any season of House, to be honest with you. But that's me.
I guess with House, I actually learned a lot from that show. I think it taught me a lot about, and I always take this line from the show, is everyone lies. And I learned that that's true. And for me, I learned a lot about human nature in that show. So I think it means a lot to me as a person, House. And to me, Pitt is more real. So that's why to me, they're shows that mean quite a lot. And I think they're both excellent shows.
I agree. They are both excellent shows.
Okay. Does that bring it to wrap it up?
Yes. So thank you for joining us, Wilson.
No
And
problem.
if you want, definitely give this show a watch. And thank you, everyone, for watching the live stream. Let the force be with you, and see you in the next one.
See you
Later, guys.
later.
Thanks for having me.